Respiration is the mechanical process of breathing. It is the exchange of air between the lungs and the external environment. External respiration is the exchange of air at the lungs. Oxygen is inhaled into the air spaces of the lungs and immediately passed into the capillaries surrounding the air spaces. At the same time, carbon dioxide, a gas produced when oxygen and food combine in cells, passes from the capillaries into the air spaces of the lungs to be exhaled. There is also internal respiration, which involves the exchange of gases at the level of the cells within all organs of the body. During internal respiration, oxygen passes out of the capillaries into the tissue cells. At the same time, the carbon dioxide passes from the tissue cells into the capillaries to travel to the lung for exhalation. Air enters the body through the nose via two openings called nostrils or nares. The air passes through the nasal cavity, which is lined with a mucous membrane and fine hairs to help filter out foreign bodies and warm and moisten the air. The paranasal sinuses are hollow, air-containing spaces within the skull that communicate with the nasal cavity. The sinuses also lighten the bones of the skull and help produce sound. The air then reaches the pharynx, which has three divisions. The first is the nasopharynx, which contains the pharyngeal tonsils or adenoids. The second part of the pharynx is the oropharynx, which contains the palatine tonsils. The third part of the pharynx is the laryngopharynx, which serves as a passageway for food from the mouth and air from the nose. It is divided into the larynx and the esophagus. The epiglottis is a flap of cartilage attached to the root of the tongue, which prevents choking or aspiration of food. During swallowing, when the food and liquid move through the throat, the epiglottis closes to prevent material from entering the lungs. The air passes through the larynx to the trachea. The trachea divides into two branches, the left and right bronchial tubes or bronchi. The bronchi lead to separate lungs, where they divide and subdivide into smaller, finer tubes. The small bronchial branches are called bronchioles. The bronchioles narrow into alveolar ducts that end in collections of air sacs called alveoli. Each alveolus is lined with one cell-thick layer of epithelium. This very thin wall allows the exchange of gases between the alveolus and the lung capillaries, where it is released into the bloodstream.